Hello guys, and welcome to another day with Zimaleta. In today's video I'm going to be installing an oil cooler onto this van right here. Everything's pretty much prepared, but before we actually install the oil cooler, I want to first show you how to, like how to prep your area, and give you some guys, some advice as to like one of the best ways to do it. You could do it your way, this is my way, and okay, let's get started. So first of all, I'm redoing an oil cooler job that somebody else has done, and for the mileage of the van, I don't think it's been done that long ago, because I believe it's got like 330,000 miles. Yet these brand new seals have failed. And the reason I'm saying they're brand new is because this is not orange. So normally a purple seal like this is the replacement seal that you're supposed to be using. So here's a brand new oil cooler that came out of here. If you're looking at the part number, this is the part number right here, A642-180-0165. So why do these things fail? Well, there's many different reasons why they fail, and I know this is not a reason, this is not a video that explains about failing. I guess that's not what you really expected, but I'm gonna explain to you anyways, because if you're doing this job, especially to your vehicle, or you're getting this job done, you might be wondering, why do these things fail? Well, here's why I think that they fail. There's many reasons. First of all, these brand new seals, they're on there, but take a look at it, like they're not like on, like, well, this is actually better than most. I've seen it. Usually it's like, it's poking out a lot, and it does not want to quite get in there. With this one, it was like that, and it kind of is like that still. So as you can see, you press it in and it presses back out. So these seals are not quite perfect as a design. But they are like a little bit rubbery, instead of the orange ones being like plastic. But that being said, they still failed. So, well, what is the reason behind that? Well, when somebody replaced this, I think they were in a hurry when they did this, and they did not clean up this area that's back here. This is new. So when I say they did not clean up, like these edges and stuff, they still had like, like grit and grime and stuff in there. I'm almost done cleaning with this one, but I cleaned it up, and this is what this ends up looking like. This we started out with a brand new rag, and as I'm cleaning, I'm basically wiping away all the grit and like stuff like that like sand and old oil. So what you gotta do is you gotta get into the edges and get all that stuff cleaned up. It's not easy to do holding your phone. So this is like one of the ways that it fails, because when they install it, it cannot go all the way down, therefore it does not create a perfect seal. So this is why I'm thinking it has failed for this situation. Also, another one that will be a big one, I'm not sure what torque that they use, but this is supposed to be torqued down at 12 Newton meters according to the book. Now, when you actually torque it down at 12 Newton meters, I believe that's not enough, because it just seems like it can go just slightly more. So I would have to adjust the Newton meters more and more using a torque wrench like this. This is what we're going to be using. So I'll adjust it, a little bit more, and then I'll check it by hand just to see where we're at. So I think that people don't torque them down properly, and the torque setting that they have from the factory fails. This is why it's also concerning, because every single van that you get like this, man, they all gonna have an oil cooler seal leak. So why is that? They're using new seals, they're using the proper torque specs, they're still failing. So what else can it be? Well, you might see over here that I have RTV lubricant that I got from Harbor Tool and Freight. This is going to be the high temperature red type of silicone. I've used blue in the past. So far so good. I'm going to use a higher grade this time. And so what I like to do is I like to run a bead, just a small number 8 bead, kind of like just around this area right here. Just basically do that. And probably would be good to kind of like connect this number 8 there and then connect this number 8 as well. So to create like, you know, this whole area for it to be completely sealed off. I think this will help things, you know, not to fail, because here's what's going on. When it does fail, there is a hole right there, and it will seep in, and it's going to fill up this area. So this area is supposed to be empty. As you can see, it's full of oil. And this oil then travels to, you know, through kind of like a transmission where the torque converter is. There's like a little cutaway behind the flywheel. And it's going to come out where the starter is, behind the starter. And it's going to be leaking right there where the starter is. So when you seal it off with the RTV lubricant like this, if it does start leaking, well, the RTV, well, if the seal fails and it wants to leak, the RTV lubricant will stop it from leaking and, you know, getting out of here. So that is that. So another reason I'm thinking that these things are leaking, people putting way too much oil into their engines, more than they're supposed to. So this van right here is a 2008, but in a 2007 manual, I've got one of these things brand new from the dealer. The manual says 14 quarts of oil. Well, now they've changed it, and they're saying that you're supposed to put 12.5 quarts of oil for the 3.0 type of engine. So that being said, let's go ahead and actually put some RTV lubricant all around over here. But before I install it, I'm gonna go ahead and give another wipe down of this area with a fresh rag, just to make sure there's no you know, sand and grit and stuff like that. For everything else is fine. I mean, I already done most of the work. And this, of course, the old one, this is, you know, I haven't done any cleaning. This is how it failed. This piece kind of goes towards the back, and as you can see, it was catching all the oil, like right there at the back, and leaking out. I haven't messed with these seals. You could observe this where you want and see where you think this actually failed. You know, whether it's the front one or the rear one. It seems to me like this rear seal failed. It's a lot more dirtier, kind of like in this area than in this area. So maybe this one was okay. Another thing has happened with this one when they install it. There is contamination on the inside. There is plastic bits that's in there, and that's, I don't know where that's from, but whoever installed it, you know, installed it with, I don't know, maybe the stuff was in oil. I'm not sure. This is an oil cooler and I caught it. So you never know what somebody else's did, but you know, when trying to replace this, I'm going with a brand new one versus a used one, because I don't know what else is in there. You know, I found some contamination, and it's a good idea to go ahead and replace it. Plus, oil coolers do fail. So if it does fail for a little part like this, you could be looking at a huge job. So I highly recommend it. If you're doing this type of job, go ahead and use a brand new Mercedes oil cooler. That way, you know you done the job, you know you done everything correctly. If anything does fail, I mean, you know, you done what you're supposed to. But I'm trying to go a step above and beyond by using the RTV lubricant, and I'm going to go to a higher spec, maybe like 14 Newton meters to 16 Newton meters. We'll see. I have done that before in the past, and on a 2010 Sprinter, and that thing hasn't failed still. So, you know, looks like it's pretty good. The RTV lubricant's there, and also the torque specs is much higher. But you don't want to go much higher than 16 Newton meters because you don't want to really damage the threads. But anyways, let's get started. Okay, here I have a brand new rag. Let's go ahead and get this thing unfolded. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and actually get edges cleaned as much as I can. I really would not go as far as using a brake cleaner in here, because these holes are pretty exposed. So you got like oil ports for the engine, and you also have radiator ports. And I don't think you're gonna want to have anything contaminating either your oil or your radiator fluid. So I'm just going to basically leave that alone. So have a little wipe down. So it's pretty good. All right, so next we're gonna put our TV lubricant. So anyways, it's brand new, so we're gonna go ahead and open this up, puncture it through using this. Nice and tight, and then I'm gonna cut it right about there. Now, this is not ideal to work in a very cold environment like I'm doing it right now, but you know, what can you do? So what I'm trying to do is just lay like a nice bead around it. Last time when I did this, I did not connect the number 8, but I had a feeling that I should, so I'm doing it this time. All RTV lubricant is basically a seal maker, so we're just making an extra seal just as a backup. Okay, there you go. So now it's ready for installation. This cat is way too curious. So here it is right here, guys. I'm gonna flip it around. I'm just gonna drop it down very gently. So I just laid it down, I have not pressed it down. So next, we're gonna need to apply the bolts. As with anything you're gonna tighten, it is a good idea to follow a star method. And if you're trying to get these bolts started, it would not be a good idea to use a torque, because this block and head, everything's aluminum pretty much. You know, you don't want to mess anything up, so you want to make sure you feel what you're doing. So I know one thing is I have to use a longer thing to go down in there, which I do have it, so that I could torque it. But here's what we're doing. We're just gonna put one here, and we're gonna want to go all the way across, get this thing tightened. Then we're gonna jump over, and I'm just doing everything hand tight. This is not tight at all. Hop over here, do the same thing. Let's see what we're using here. We're using a T30. So because of this, I have to use like a longer thing. That's the only reason. But everywhere else, a normal type of socket does work. So before we get everything tight, I need to make sure that that one is going all the way down. So now I got a long extended T30. You always have to make sure you have enough tools in your toolbox for each job. You never know what you need, but you gotta start with what you got. That's how I got started. I had some tools, then I bought a little more. Each job I do, I have to go buy more tools. So every time I'm thinking I got enough, there I go buying more tools again. So everything's, you know, it's nicely, I guess, hand tight. I'm not gonna say it's tight yet. So now I'm going to use my Torx gun. This is not a very heavy duty gun. That's pretty good. Because I really don't want things to be heavy duty just yet. So now I'm going to use an actual Torx. But let's see what it's gonna be. All right. Okay. That one's 12. Up to that one. Okay, that one's 12. Up across. The cool thing is when you torque everything, you can't really miss anything. Because if you get the bolt twice, it's already been torqued, so nothing to worry about. So it looks like I already got that one. And I'm tightening it at close to 13. So that's about like 14 right there where it's screaming. So I'm going to now recheck them all. So it's 13, 14. It's supposed to be 12, but I'm doing it to be on the safe side. 14. I'm just going around right now, no longer. And 14. Because I could feel that it's still tightening. 14 feels about right. Okay, that's 14. That's 14. That's 14. And that's 14. All right, so that's good. And the last thing I want to do, I want to check the tightness with a smaller tool. So I'm going to use a smaller one. This is not the smallest, but let's see how it feels like in the hand. It feels like I could still do it some more. So that means it's done correctly, because you don't want to overdo it. You gotta give it some room, some playroom. So it's looking much better.